Welcome to the show, and here are your hosts, the diabolical Elite Gaming Guru, the illustrious Red Dead Panda, and the Australian stud Ashtray Gaming. So let's get this party started. Shit. And we are live. Welcome back. Oh, you just laughed. Oh, you laughed through my monologue.
Because there was a massive pause.
Because I was preparing myself. I was taking a deep breath and I was getting all ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
You were adjusting for it? Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I was adjusting my...
Mike?
Anyway. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, guys.
That must have been a small adjustment.
Micro
Just to give it
A little
nudge to
tweak.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Gaming Initiative podcast, episode 63. Is there anyone there in the chat? There's no one here. Yes, welcome back to another episode, featuring myself, the handsome Elite Gaming Guru, Red Dead Panda, and Ashtray Gaming. Hello, my favourite people.
Good morning.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Good. Yourself? This
Yeah, I'm all
cold morning for us?
It's been hot here. It's been really. You've heard we've had severe heavy. We went up to 40 degrees. We had severe weather warnings and everything. We've had forest fires and all the sorts of kind of things. Like it's like a bit Australia.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so we actually had like fires and all sorts of shit.
Yeah,
How's it been where you are though?
Well, it's the exact opposite. So, although I don't know about Red, but for me, it actually, where I live, it hasn't been raining very much at all. It's been really cold during the night. We've been down in -1. That's in Celsius for those in the US. And at the same time, though, the sun's been so warm during the day that we've actually been getting like 13-degree temperatures during the day, which is actually, for this time of year, during the day, it's quite warm. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, they've been getting rain up north of us. So what's it been like over in New Zealand, Red?
We've mainly had rain, but we've just the last couple of days we've actually had sun for once. It's really weird. We've had like the wettest winter ever, in the sense, because we've had a lot of surface flooding and all sorts around New Zealand, and now everything's starting to hopefully. It's been a bit cooler as a result because we've actually had some clear skies, but yeah, it'd be nice to actually have a winter. Doesn't feel like winter.
You said
at all.
wet.
I did say wet. I didn't say moist though.
Moist.
But hi to the chat. Hi, my sister. Hi, Forsaken Ghost, and the blue one is in the chat. Yes, Ashtray Gaming is a fraud. He's also an undercover pony. If you didn't know that, everybody. But yeah. What have you been playing, Elite? While we get into
my favourite sisters in the chat. 63. Fantastic.
Yeah. Yep.
How cool. We miss you. We want you back on. Please come back
permanently.
Before we get too far into it, guys in the chat, just let us know how our audio sounds and make sure that you can hear us all. And if we need to turn Elite down or off.
Yeah, can you just hear Ashtray and myself? That's all we really care about. Yeah.
Hope you can hear us. Hope you can hear us because we've just given away a whole bunch of Xboxes. So annoying if you can hear us.
Yeah, they're just boxes with the X marked on them, but still.
Hello, Forsaken Ghost. The blue one in it, sweet, bruv. Well, what have I been playing?
Yeah.
I've actually not been on the Xbox this week. I've not played any games. I've been too busy.
Kick
with work and stuff. I know.
Out of the podcast.
I know. Fraud. I know. Yeah, I've not played anything.
Really?
I'm trying to think.
Ah, fraud. Not even Conan?
No, I've not even played Conan. I've not played anything all week because I've just been too busy.
You suck.
Yeah, I'm a bitch. So I'm a simp. I'm a simp for real life. What have you guys been playing? What have you been playing? Let me pick one. Oh, there's so many choices. Ashtray.
Yeah. What did I win? As usual, I jump in and out of most games. I've been playing a bit of Dead Space 2. A little bit of Assassin's Creed Syndicate, a little bit of Assassin's Creed Unity, jumped into Plague's Tale a little bit, obviously Fortnite, and most importantly of all, Forza Horizon Hot Wheels, which you're seeing gameplay of right now as we speak. Now the gameplay is trash, sue me, but this is what we're going to get today. So, what about you, Red? What have you been playing?
As typical, I've just been playing Power Wash Simulator, basically.
Boring.
Yeah, I mean,
You done that? You literally do that in real life. That's what you've intended. That's
Yeah.
what you've done for the past month. Was power wash.
last
And now you're
month.
playing
No,
a
it's been
game
raining
with
for
your
the
power wash.
last 2 months.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I did do some pressure washing for the Australians, but in New Zealand it's water blasting. Okay, guys. So water blast that like button. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, did my house, and so I've been playing. It's oddly satisfying, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't know why, but I am, and I haven't really played any other games, but Astro was really kind enough to give me a code so I can try or play the Hot Wheels DLC. So I'm looking
An Aussie
forward
code, though.
to doing that. An Aussie code, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. We'll sort it.
It's slightly better.
Yeah, well, the Aussie version of the South Park games were not better; they were censored, and so we got your versions of the game, and I was like, "Son of a, yeah."
Yeah, well.
All right. Okay, well, hi to everyone else in the chat. Oh, we got Dauntless with us. Other Zinc, you made it. Well, just for you, because you made it. Rubbish. So you can leave now. Please don't. No, we love having you in the chat.
We do.
Have I played anything else this week? Among Us. I've been playing Among Us because I love that game. And if you haven't played Among Us, you should.
You need to play that Fallen game. What's it called? Fall Flat.
Fall Guys?
Fall Guys, yeah. Let's play that afterwards. Yeah.
That
See,
game.
you really show how fraudulent you are, Elite.
We need to play that. We was going to play it last week, weren't we? That's true, but yeah, I think by the time you got back on, I was out of it.
Yeah. And I won't be able to get on till later today. I've got other things.
Yeah, he's got a life, apparently. Something more important than gaming.
I'm a businessman.
I thought cocaine, innit?
All right, I reckon it's probably about time we jump into the first topic. What do you think?
Let's do
I
it.
was just going to say that. Thank you. You read my mind.
What was you going to say?
welcome.
You're going to
what
lead us
Astro
in ready. Lead us ready, Poos.
No, it's you. You do it.
Oh, but she's got such a lovely voice.
Well, I'm
Lovely
glad.
voice.
I just want to say for missing last week and hearing about my piercing removals was entertaining. as hell.
Yeah. How'd that go?
It was
Was it
so
septic?
good that I enjoyed it on my birthday. It was great. That's what I did on my birthday. No. No, I was up north. I was away for 4 days with my sister, relaxing, enjoying the actual.
that's
We had like
lovely.
3 days of sun. It was really surprising.
Is it still pussy though? That's what everyone wants to know.
It was
No.
really smelly, apparently.
Yeah. Well, you're still recovering from your reverse hysterectomy, Elite. You know?
Yeah. It's because I've enjoyed it so much, I'll just keep having it reversed.
But yeah. So sorry that I missed last week, and sorry that I gapped it early the week before. I was picking up my car, and
she's
I
not
am
sorry.
here. I am here all the time now, as much as I can be. 'Cause, yeah, it's until Elite and Astro kick me out. Yeah.
Well, there's been
Replace
rumors
me
that
with
you might leave
Coral.
us, actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh, don't believe in rumors, Take everything with a grain of salt.
indeed.
But anyway, Elite, start us off on our
Lead
first
us
topic.
on.
Yeah, lead
First
the
topic
way.
number one. CD Projekt Red's stock has fallen over 75% since Cyberpunk 2077's release source. Oh, I don't know where the end is.
You need to read.
2077's release. Yeah.
Oh, release
I went
source.
to, like, I
Pause.
went to, like,
Pause
computer
here.
mode there. Yeah.
I should
You need
put
to
a
type in when
gap.
there's pauses and things. Yeah, full stops.
Oh, okay.
So CD Projekt Red's stock has fallen 29% since Cyberpunk because that really fucked them over. Are we surprised at this?
No,
We shot
not
back?
really, not really. I mean, we've discussed this before. We know that it's usually a management issue. They sort of forced them to push the game out because it was taking so long and all that kind of stuff. But being that they're a publicly traded company, what do you think people are going to do? They get bad news. They were hyped for the release of the game. It didn't do well. What do you think people are going to do? They're going to dump their stocks, right? As soon as they dump their stocks, what happens? The stock price goes down. So it's just a case of that. Look, it most likely will build back up over time. It's just going to probably take a few, maybe even a decade. It'll take a while to build back up, but they'll bounce back for sure. But what's interesting is that Techland, apparently, even though they're a privately owned company, apparently are worth more than them now. They're apparently the most or highest worth development team in Poland. So that's interesting, isn't it?
It just goes to show that, like,
Not really.
If you are in this industry, that like gamers are gonna like vote with their wallets essentially and tell you if your game is good or not. And the fact that in the court of public opinion around how gamers perceived it, Cyberpunk 2077, the way it launched, it should have been delayed again, and they should have just kept their mouth shut until it was ready or released when it releases. Yes, gamers were vying for it and just like sick of it being delayed and such, but the product that we got when it launched was shit, essentially compared to other game, compared to what the game should have been, based on what they promised and based on just not being broken as hell. And so as a result, they've kind of they did this to themselves, and the people who look after and sort of fund and whatever to do with Cyberpunk. I can't think this morning. I'm still a bit tired. I stayed up too late watching The Boys, and yeah, now you get fucked over by gamers as a result, and people lose faith in the company, and then shares drop, and then this happens. So their numbers are sitting around what they were at 2017.
2017, yep.
Yeah, and so they built all this hype up. They got all this going on for them, and they just shot themselves in the foot by kind of being forced into releasing, half-assing the game. And so I guess the next big thing is waiting on the Witcher 3 patch and seeing if for the next gen or current gen consoles, and seeing if that moves the needle at all, because that game is beloved by many, and hopefully the next game is actually they've learned their lesson, because we've seen time and time again other developers have run into the same crap as a result of releasing half-assed games.
Indeed, but I don't know. Like, I think there's still some updates to come for the game. I think there's still a plan.
Cyberpunk? Yeah. It should have never been released on last gen systems. It should have never been released.
No, clearly not. And they pushed it out for the sales, obviously. But again, I mean, it's sold quite a few copies. I think it was over 10 million copies. But it still doesn't mean, like, people trade it back in. They'll get a refund.
But outsold The Last of Us 2.
Well, everything does, though.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
So, I mean, come on. But you've always got to bring that shit up, don't you? But more importantly for me, like, I played the game. It had a fairly major update about 6 months ago, I want to say, maybe longer. And I jumped into it again and had a look, and I still wasn't impressed with it. You could drive around, and there's like 2 people walking down the street and 1 car. You hop out the car, you walk down the street, all of a sudden there's people there. They're still, they fixed the fact that they were replicate. So you could walk past a guy in a white suit, you could turn around, and there'd be a guy in a white suit there again. And it looked exactly the same. And that they fixed that issue, but it's still not good enough. And however this sounds, the guys at Rockstar know how to do and populate an open world. I mean, GTA 5 is a perfect example of that. Yeah. So or even
Skyrim.
Do you reckon they're just the engine that they were using wasn't fit for purpose?
Probably.
I would think that would be the biggest thing that kind of came out of that. It just feels like the engine that they were using was not fit for purpose whatsoever, and as a result, this is the crap that came out. And they've released absolute rubbish as a result of it.
Yeah, too ambitious.
This is why I'd like to step in. Can I step in?
Shh. Our special guest, Elite Gaming Guru, this week.
Well, as long as it's relevant to the conversation, sure, go for it.
I'm just gonna crack my knuckles. Right. So now, what I was going to say, I blame you guys. Probably read more than Ashtray. I also blame the chat. I blame all the people that overly hyped The Witcher 3, because I thought it was. Witcher 3.
I don't really care for Witcher 3. What are you talking about?
No, I thought, yeah, okay, good. That's why I thought maybe you read more than you, because I thought it was very average, the game. And I thought all those people that overly hyped The Witcher 3 saying it's the second coming of Christ, and it's an incredible, best game ever, and then gave him the Year Award, and then thought Cyberpunk would also be to that level, were kidding themselves. Because Cyberpunk was such a massive turnaround of a game compared to Witcher 3. I mean, they introduced character customization that's on par with Skyrim, and they also which Witcher 3 wasn't. Remember, you just played a linear character. You know, Witcher 3 was basically like an open world PlayStation game, wasn't it? You played a set character, but it's just open world. But it's just you run around, kind of like what's those games called? The Dragon Age games. You just play a set character and yada yada yada. This was sort of far bigger, and I think it was just way too complex for them. As you said, I think they really pushed too much for it. I think they almost wanted to compete with sort of Bethesda level. You know, the complete customization, the whole open world, everything that was thrown into this game was just far too big for them. And I think that's just where I don't think they was prepared for their own game. I think that's where they fell apart. And I think people gave them way too much hype based on Witcher 3, which was just nothing on the same scale as Witcher 3.
Witcher 3 was also buggy when it launched, but I haven't even finished the game. So I heard
which
me
everyone forgot
overhyping it.
Yeah.
I still have to finish the game to decide how good the game is. I mean, it's beautiful, and for most parts, the story's pretty good, and so on and so forth. But
the combat in that was awful. I could not. One of the things that put me off the game was the combat was awful. I just found it really. It reminded me of like Elden Ring. I don't know. I thought it was really jagged and awful and sort of clunky and slow. It didn't feel fluid, and you're playing a set character. And yeah, you just running for the motions of running around the world, just sort of go fetch missions. And I thought Cyberpunk was way too massive for them, and they needed maybe to have experimented with something else before that, because I think they was just on their own hype. They were trying to then step up to Bethesda level style of games, and I think it was just too much for them, to be honest.
Yeah, totally agree.
Well, it's like that whole "don't eat the whole elephant" thing. It feels like that they tried to eat the whole elephant and failed.
Yeah.
Miserably at it. And so it feels bad because like the game and that studio, there was so much potential there for that game, and as a result they've suffered around their reputation took a big hit in result for that, especially in the eyes of gamers, and now people just want them to kind of go back to their heyday and sort of like their next game. They really need to execute their next game properly and not run into another Cyberpunk, because that is what everyone talks about when there are issues now is, oh, it's another Cyberpunk, or it's like how Cyberpunk was rubbish and other stuff like that. Like that is the precedent that's been set as a result. Even though they've really made massive improvements in the updates and optimization and so on and so forth, it's still gonna have the stigma behind it for the rest of its natural whatever.
I think
Deservedly
personally what
so.
they should have done. Yeah, I think personally what they should have done is made the project smaller. I think they should have just focused on maybe 1 or 2 cities and the campaign just focused onto those, and then should have made it more of like a gas game where they just release other cities and stuff with DLC, and the game sort of just continues on, and then they could have had that on the back foot while then they focused on something like a Witcher 4 or other projects. I think that's what they should have done. I think they put way too much into this on release.
If you look at how Cyberpunk as a studio works, CD Projekt Red as a studio, they're a studio that is generally pretty consumer friendly for the most part, and so I don't think they would have done a games as a service model, because it just doesn't feel like it would have been them. They might do that in their next game, but up until that point, it doesn't feel like that would have been very much in line with how that studio was run at the time. But yeah, I mean, they definitely bit off way more than they could chew, and I agree 100%. Forsaken, yes, it should have never come out on last gen systems. It should have only come out on current gen, and I think splitting their focus to try and have the teams creating a version that can run on every console that they were making it run on. They should have really just pulled the plug on those last gen systems. People would have understood if they saw how that game ran on those last gen systems. People would have understood, and just said, "Hey, this is the reason why we're pulling it. It's an ambitious game. It's too much for last gen. The current gen consoles are the ones that we need to push it on for our vision that we're trying to go with this title." But again, they didn't. You don't want to leave money on the floor in that regard. I get it. But just you kind of lost a lot of money as a result.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's what Gotham Knights have done. They've decided to shelve last gen to focus on new gen, or current gen, I should say, and make sure that that's premium and it works. And then they'll still get the sales over time. So, very good.
I think, well, I was just going to say, I think, yeah, I agree.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Well,
No, I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. So, people we talk about, we talk about Witcher 3 and say, CD Projekt Red, they dropped the ball and stuff. They don't have a history of doing this kind of thing. I mean, you talk about CD Projekt Red, you go back to Witcher 3, then what is there? I mean, who
Witcher 2,
Witcher 2 until Witcher
and
3 come out.
They weren't that great.
Who do with Witcher 2 and Witcher 1? Who is not like everyone when Witcher 3 come out, everyone go, "Oh yeah, finally a sequel to Witcher 2, which we all loved." No, nobody played those games. Witcher 3 was a lucky hit, and that's it. That is their history. Witcher 1, 2, and 3, and 1 and 2 nobody knew about. So they've not really got a history of making these games. They've not got, and then that's why it annoys me when people then compare, which I think is insulting, Bethesda to Cyberpunk. So, no, they don't want another Cyberpunk sort of issue. You're saying that Bethesda that has got like a 20+ year history of making this kind of thing is going to make a mistake like Cyberpunk that has no history of anything. And I think it just winds me up when people sort of compare Bethesda with CD Projekt.
Yeah, well, this first topic was supposed to be an easy one, just to slide into, and it's actually gone for quite some time. So that's quite interesting there in itself. But for those out there listening, you are listening to the Gamers Initiative podcast with Elite Gaming Guru, Red Dead Panda, and myself, Ashtray Gaming. You are also watching, if you're watching this live, you're also watching some footage or gameplay footage of Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC, which looks pretty cool. Sorry about the driving; it's a bit trash.
Pretty rubbish at it, yeah.
That's because it's I'm not used to.
It's me driving, and Ashtray doesn't want to tell you that. I'm kidding.
You're saying I drive like a
like a New Zealander? Yes, you drive like a New Zealander. Yeah. Save you on that one, Ashtray.
All right, next topic.
Halo VR was cancelled. So, go on, what did you say?
The spin-off, yeah.
Yeah.
The spin-off, yeah. I thought it was joking.
Did you see that?
Did
you see that on Twitter?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yes, I posted it to you guys.
Oh, it's one of those mornings and evenings, guys.
Very good.
Yeah. I'm confused now. You throw me off there.
Just start off the topic. It's fine.
Yeah. Bloody hell, Ashtray. For everyone. Anyway,
I'm just trying to keep you on your toes, man. That's all.
Just kind of trying to keep you in your toilet.
Well, that's easy.
Halo VR spin-off was cancelled, so there was going to be Free for Free were working on a VR title. It was in the works, a spin-off from Halo, and basically they cancelled it. They just thought it wasn't worth the effort, basically, and cancelled it. What would you guys have to add to that?
Very in depth there.
I've got a bit more to say to it, but I just want to see what you guys think about a VR version of Halo first.
Yep. Well, anyone.
Red.
Red and I will just start talking at the same time.
Yeah, we
and confuse everybody.
Yeah, sounds great.
Red, you go for it.
I'll let Red handle this.
You sound the same anyway.
You sang have a really deep voice.
Or Australia has a really feminine voice.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Yes, I saw this and I wasn't really surprised by it. And the reason why I wasn't surprised is because I don't think VR's at a point where um, we need to be playing these titles. I don't think technology has gotten to the point where VR is where it should be for it to become mainstream or to have a title like Halo on it yet. I think in the future, VR technology is definitely going to improve enough for us to feel like when we put the kit on, we'll be in there. Because I watched like someone else showing like a um gameplay of Halo in like VR mode, and it looked sick as hell. And I was like, this would be such a fun game to play in VR. But again, the technology just isn't there yet. So I'm kind of happy that they didn't put the money into this or put more time and effort into this. And it's going to be something that potentially later on down the line, the Halo IP can move into that when I feel like VR is at a point where I could play it. Because VR and me, I don't know. And I also like the idea of like you've seen some of those VR setups where you've got those things that they can run on in any direction. And it's like the cost to entry to fully be get that VR oh my god experience properly get that VR experience is way out of the average consumer's price range. And so I think if you're looking at what Xbox is doing at the moment, then trying to remove barriers to gamers, and part of that is removing quite high costs to entry to gaming. Why we've got the Series S, um, why you've got the choice of Game Pass, why there's going to be an app on the Samsung TVs, why you can cloud game on your phone, because those are things you already own, you're already willing to like put money into, and blah blah blah. But VR, yes, it's a nice to have. It is expensive, and I think to play Halo the way you want to play Halo, you would need to spend a pretty penny. And that's my opinion on it. It would be cool to play it because I saw that someone's style of VR for Halo, and I was like, that would be so much fun. Like, I would love to play like VR Pokemon. That would be awesome. But yeah, I'm not surprised by this, and I think VR is just it's not there yet. And I'm gonna stick to my guns on that until someone can prove to me otherwise that VR is where it's at the moment. And I'm just kind of don't give a shit.
Indeed. Well, I mean, the technology wasn't there in 2017 and it's still not there now in 2022. So, that's fair enough. Look, these companies have to play around with this stuff, come up with these concepts and see if it's viable at the time. It doesn't mean that it's not going to, be worked on again. They can just shelve it in a few more years, look back at it and say, all right, well, the tech's sort of where we want it at. Let's look at it again and see if we can do something with it. But you mentioned something that I was going to say, which was having like a platform that can move in different areas and different ways. So it'd have to be like I don't know, like a big square or a hexagon or something, octagon shape, and then you'd have to be able to walk on it and feel like you're actually walking around and without actually going anywhere. And I mean, even put cost and price aside, you'd have to have the freaking space to put it, right?
That's true.
So and most people's lounge rooms or areas where they game aren't big enough to have all that shit. Some people do, of course, but not everybody. And it's again, you're just then limiting the amount of people.
The casual gamer at this point, it's not mainstream enough for VR, like to do all that. But the casual gamer at this point isn't probably going to go out, make sure they've got room for that, learn how to put all the kit together, and chuck it on and play that style of game. Maybe in the future when technology is at that point where we can do it and kind of it's mainstream as hell. It's not mainstream. It's super not mainstream yet. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, houses, they need to start building houses in mind to have gaming rooms or areas where people can have all this shit. But until then, it's not happening. I think it's cool and it would be awesome if you could put on a VR headset like your Master Chief and actually complete missions with a plastic gun and stuff that has all the buttons and triggers and things that you need and feel like you're actually immersed in the world. But
Imagine even multiplayer like that. Oh,
that would be
so cool.
How awesome would it be, right? But
Yes.
we're just not there. We're nowhere near it. And it's what's the point of VR? Virtual reality, right? So you need to feel like you're actually there, like it's real almost, right? And it's just not at that point. A lot of things are sort of too cartoony and stuff. You need to feel that you're almost literally there, and you can sort of hear the ambience of the world, and you can almost sort of every time you step, you can hear that crunch or that grass sound, and you kind of feel it as you're moving, and just it's just not going to happen. So, or not for a while. So, it's good that
Yeah.
they've looked at it. They've done some concept art and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good that they're not wasting their time and talents. I mean, they couldn't even get Halo Infinite out complete. So
As Phil said that ages ago, that he was at first he was looking into VR, but then after seeing how well it did on PlayStation 5, which it didn't do well, I don't care what anyone says, especially PlayStation fans.
PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4, that it was a success. It wasn't a massive success. It sold 5 million, I think, 5 million units across about 4 years, on to 120 million units. That's not a success. If Sony was supporting it fully, they would have their first party studios producing AAA titles for it, but they're not, because they're not even going all in on it. Sony like to believe that it's like
You heard it here
the next
first, though,
big
right?
thing.
The
But
Last of Us remake's gonna have a VR experience. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
yeah. Well, we've seen the
Probably wouldn't
Horizon
surprise me,
Forbidden
right?
West. Yeah, we've seen the Horizon Forbidden West VR experience, and it looks more like that Jurassic Park game. The one where you just go around the zoo kind of thing. It just looks more like a viewing experience with maybe some sort of traversal in it. But it's what as you said, what you need, if VR needs to be all in or nothing. I think it needs to be it needs to be 120 FPS for a start, which is not reaching minimum, which they said ages ago. This is like years ago. I said this needs to be 120 FPS. I think Digital Foundry actually said it, for it to be sort of workable, and it's
PSVR
still not.
It's going to be the new one. It's going to be 120 FPS capable, like refresh in the
Yeah,
headset.
I don't know. Was it? And
Yep.
then the graphics, but then it needs the support. It needs Santa Monica making games for it. It needs Naughty Dog making games for it. Not as always as last generation where they really pushed it, but it just had sort of AA titles. There wasn't any AAA titles. The only AAA titles were from external sources, and they weren't great. They had the Batman experience game on it. It just wasn't very good. And the Spider-Man game was awful. I mean, it got reload score. It's not supported. And as I said, I like the idea that you need, if you go all in VR, you need sort of the mat on the ground so you can walk, and it needs far more, so you're far more involved. But it's not just Xbox. People are going to say, oh, Xbox cancelled another game. Ubisoft are also working. The news was Ubisoft are also working on VR titles, and they dropped 2 games as well from VR. So you get these big publishers looking at VR and going, not yet. We'll keep waiting. And I totally agree with him. I totally agree with Phil.
Viable, yeah.
It's not worth viable. The amount of money you must have to throw into it, because you look at the gamers. What gamers? We know what gamers are. We're going to do this, but who would buy a unit for, say, £400? I don't know how much the thingy. It released about 400 at first, and it dropped massively. £400, and then you're going to play games like, I don't know, Astro Bot and stuff like that in VR and stuff like that, or you might just play a game where you just go down a slide, or you go skiing and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just like, you just spent £400 on this unit just so you can experience stuff that you could experience in real life, like driving a car in VR. Amazing, incredible. Wow, imagine driving a car in VR. Imagine that. It'd be like real life. I can't you do that? You don't want to do that. You want to be bloody playing FPSs. You want to be running through the streets. This is going to sound weird. Killing people. And you want to be doing stuff like that. You don't want to do experiences that you can just do anyway. That's not the experience of VR that I want. I don't think that's the experience that a lot of people want.
VR at the moment feels like a tech demo.
Yes.
That's all it feels like, a massive big tech demo. But I do feel like the companies that are investing heavily into VR are basically getting it set up and testing it and doing all these things for it, so that they're building a fan base. They're getting developers to make it so then when it is more mainstream, they've already kind of started and they don't have to start from scratch. So I get that, for them. But the R&D, like you're saying, the cost to do this, and like I'm just thinking about, like, you just think the cost to make consoles and the ease of use for access for consoles, like to play games. Like, they're spending a shit ton of money there already, and to then go and spend more money, more R&D money on VR and so on and so forth, it's insane.
Indeed, it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, there's not much more to talk about it. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be mainstream anytime soon.
No.
There's not a lot of people working on it. You're not going to get the big games that we all want to play. Just like sort of Elite mentioned. I mean, an FPS would be perfect, as if you're sort of there and you can hide around corners and all that sort of shit. But I think that's also
be really
Let's go play
immersive.
laser
Yeah.
tag,
Yeah.
guys. If you want to play
Yeah.
that game, go play laser tag.
well, exactly
Yeah.
right. But
But I mean, Xbox would be fantastic at VR if they did put in, because games like Sea of Thieves. Actually, Xbox has fantastic games that are really suitable to VR.
Grounded.
Like Microsoft Grounded, that'd be fantastic in VR. Sea of Thieves would be fantastic in VR. Microsoft Flight Sim, it's on PC. We know it would be fantastic in VR. I think Xbox actually has more VR titles, potential titles, than PlayStation. But they just don't want to commit to it because it's a massive cost for how many sales do those games pick up? I don't think it's many. I don't think
I
there's
think
many. at all.
you look at it in general, PC's got the most, right? PC's got the most, like,
If you want to play VR, go to
experiences.
PC. It's
Yeah.
got far more games. Yes, the quality is better. The unit's better because they're the what's it called?
Well, we don't know what the new one's like specifically for the PlayStation VR yet, too.
But it's
'cause it hasn't
but it's still tethered though. Whereas the
you've got the
what's the one?
there's still
is
one
it the
cord.
Quest?
Yeah, it's still got the cord to it.
Yeah, it's still got
Whereas that's what I
Is
mean.
it-
It's still tethered with
the
yeah.
Quest.
I had
Yeah,
a
the Quest ones was untethered years ago.
Yeah, I had an Oculus at the house for my kid to do eye stuff, and because optometrists use them, and that was wireless as well. So
Yeah, that's what I mean. The PC versions are wireless already, but PlayStation's still wired, and there's far more variety on the PC VR circuit as well compared to PlayStation. Like triple the amount of games, far more games on PC. So if you really just want to experience stuff, go for it on PC. It's not worth on console. It's just not worth it. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think it's there yet. Until it's like common enough to be in like every household, there's no point at this point, and technology's not there for that anyway. But are we ready to move along?
We
Lee? You wanna
are.
start us off on our next topic?
Yeah, Xbox video game Grounded, which was just mentioned actually, is in the works to become an animated series from the Star Wars Clone Wars. Brent Friedman, is it Brent Friedman who made the Star Wars Clone Wars series?
Yep.
He's making the animated series for Grounded. Who's hyped about that? I did actually watch much of the Star Wars Clone Wars series. I don't like that style of cartoon, to be honest. I'm a massive cartoon fan, but I don't like the style of cartoon. But I mean,
last. So Astro, if you want to start us off on this topic, or Elite, do you have a lot to add?
Yes, okay, go on, let me go. What me and Ashley touched on just before we went live was about a topic which we forgot to bring in last. We would have had to scoop in it about Netflix, about Xbox and Netflix having sort of a partnership now, and now many are saying that they might actually be buying Netflix. I don't want to sort of get more into that because it's sort of a rumor, I think, at the moment. But things like this would be a good deal, and I think I can see now this becoming a Netflix cartoon series, and maybe this is sort of ties in where they're going with the sort of the Netflix deal, where they might be looking at putting things like the Halo series onto Netflix because it's very successful on what's it on Paramount? Is it?
Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Paramount Plus, yes, it's very successful there, but Paramount is very limited. Like we don't get Paramount in the UK, for example. I don't think you get it in Australia.
Yeah, but only via Apple.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't get it here.
No, so we don't get the UK. So,
There needs to be
yes,
more
so
in
I think this could be the start of them maybe producing more series, and then Netflix is their go-to. Because I think that's all I'd say. As for a cartoon, would I watch it? Yeah, of course. If it's on Netflix, I've got Netflix anyway. So yeah, I would buy into it. And while we're still on the Netflix thing, I think would we see Netflix in Game Pass in sort of within the subscription? So that's another thing,
Nope.
thing to talk about. Yeah, but
Maybe a
I think that's
discount would
what's
be
been,
nice.
yeah, that's what's talked about. But many have sort of said that you get Game Pass with your Netflix subscription and then it suddenly open up to millions of people having Game Pass. You know what I mean? I think that's the topic that's going around. But I think that's a topic for another day. To see what more. I think there's so rumours at the moment. To see what more comes of that. But would I watch the cartoon? Yes, obviously I would because I've got Netflix. So just like Game Pass, it's free in brackets. But yeah, I'd watch it and see how it is. I said, I don't like the Clone Wars because I like sort of Star Wars, but I don't like that sort of that kind of era of Star Wars. So, but I would watch it. I like the game, and yeah, I'd watch the cartoon. But let's listen. Let's listen to what Red's got to say then.
Oh,
I don't care what Ashra's got to say.
last time.
I don't care.
Okay, all right. I always have lots to say, guys. What are you talking about? You guys can go make like a 3-course breakfast or something if you want while I talk.
That's,
It'll be
that's
fine.
why I
You'll
want you
have
to talk
plenty of
first.
time.
Me and Ashtray are going to play a game now.
All right. Well, I was actually pleasantly surprised by this. I actually thoroughly love the game Grounded, and I wasn't expecting to. I remember when it first launched, or they first showed it, I was like, "This is not the style of game for me." It had like the fort building and so on and so forth, and everyone was kind of not really giving it a fair chance or anything like that. It was just pulling it apart, and then people started playing the game and it started taking people by surprise. And I've recently gone back and watched the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and We Shrunk Ourselves, those 3 movies, and the idea of like Grounded bringing that back for me, like quite nostalgic and wanting me to go and experience that. And I was like, that wonder and awe that I experienced when I was a kid, and the chance for like other people who maybe haven't watched those movies or haven't experienced Grounded the game to actually kind of jump into that sort of world or that situation where you're shrunk down to a small size, you're in the back garden. And I think the idea of turning it into an animated series is great. And kudos to Obsidian because they've done a great job with the small team that released and worked on Grounded. And they've done so much with the community, and there's so much there to work from. And I think you could have some really great stories as an animated series in that regard. I know I'm going to watch it because, like, just going back and watching those movies, and, like, obviously they're cringy as hell now. Well, some of them are. I just want to see what a modern-day take on those stories would be like now, because we've got technology moving up with what is... I mean, just look at Arcane. I would love it to be an Arcane art style, but it's probably not going to be like that, considering Clone Wars. But yeah, I'm keen. I'm super excited, and to see that IP itself is taking off and it's done so well, because it's a huge hit in the PC realm and Xbox and so on and so forth. And if you haven't played it, I do recommend playing it. And when you run into like a ladybug and it kills you in like one hit, like you feel small, you feel useless, and then it's a bunch of fun, and it's something that you want to do with other people and have a good laugh. And I think like the fact that this would feed off itself, and people who watch the animated series may go play Grounded, and people who play Grounded may go watch the animated series. So yeah, well, they're doing really well, and I think it was a great buy by Microsoft and Xbox to acquire Obsidian. Yeah. That's all I gotta say.
Indeed. Well, further to that, right, I think that having a TV series from it can then develop a whole lot of different storylines, right? Which
merch as well, merch.
Yeah, merch. But when they can create different storylines and have different stories per episode. But what they could really do is they could actually build a story around the game. So what I'm trying to say is that, say you watched a certain thing happen or scenario play out on TV, and then not long after that, DLC drops, and you're actually in there doing that.
That's
how
smart.
Cool would that be? Like a tie-in, right? So, they'd have to work that out. That kind of thing has been done before, I believe. But that would be pretty cool, that you can actually play out the episode that you just watched, for example, and you're there and you can change that story based on how you react to that situation or whatever it might be. So a tie-in sort of cross thing like that would be kind of cool, or even you know, you could essentially have your own, because I haven't actually played the game yet, and I need to. Yeah, I know.
We need to jump in and play together. Yep.
I loaded it up when it first came out, and then sort of turned it off pretty quick. But I'm more than happy to jump in and actually learn the ropes and see what it's all about. Especially now that they've opened the whole game up.
It's impressive.
Yeah, because it was just a section of the backyard, and I think there's a whole lot more available now to play. So that's really cool. So, but back to the show, like this guy's written a whole lot of different TV shows and other games as well. So not just the Clone Wars. So I think the writing is in good hands. He's written some stuff for Call of Duty and a couple other things. So the guy's been around for a while, and I think he's got experience on how to adapt a video game into a TV show. And I just hope that they do that, like I mentioned before, that sort of cross thing with the game and the TV show, and they try and tie it together. That would be, that'd be cool. That'd be really awesome.
Yeah,
kind of like how they try and. Sorry.
I was going to say, I agree with what Astra said, because I think you need a good writer on this, because I think it will be hard to keep content going on a story where you just basically got 4 kids that have been shrunken and then lived in a garden without it getting sort of quite boring quickly, if you know what I mean. Because how many times are you going to sort of show these kids just fighting a ladybird or a spider each episode before it gets sort of, you know what I mean? Whereas obviously Star Wars universe is a universe. This is just going to be surrounded. This is just going to be solely just them in the garden. That's it. And so I think it's going. The story's going to be really. I hope they sort of almost make it. Do we know what the age limit's aimed at? The age of the cartoon actually.
I think
no
it's
idea.
just sort of for everyone. All
Because
yeah,
I mean,
it'd be interesting to make it sort of. Cause, go on. Sorry, I was just saying it'd be interesting if they made it sort of maybe not dark, but because it can be scary ground. You remember the spiders and things like that. They give a warning when you encounter spiders and stuff, don't they? You can actually change the spiders to blobs. I think it was instead for people that are scared of spiders. But it'd be interesting to also almost have a sort of a dark edge on it. Some cases, kind of like the Star Wars, like the Clone Wars thing. It has some sort of dark moments, didn't it? It'd be interesting if we'd done that, make it a bit more
do you know what
but
would be funny is if they were like, are you afraid of spiders before you watch this? And then like someone goes yes, and then they have a version designed with the
that'd be good.
The blobs.
Yeah, you just choose what version to watch.
That would be so funny.
Be good.
That
Yeah,
would be hilarious. Even the blobs with the little eyes are scary, guys. When they come at you and you're like, but yeah, I choose to have the spiders on, even though they're scary AF. No thanks.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not 2 inches tall.
Yeah.
Unlike Elite, who is 2 inches tall.
Yeah.
Micro adjustment.
When laying down. No, wait a minute. That didn't work.
No, it didn't. However accurate, I believe.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
All right.
So let's move on, because we've done that to death. Sony Class Action alleges company concealed defects of the PS5. That's I fixed it. You're spelling.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, it's almost like King Fresh wrote that title.
Oh shit!
Girlfriend. Yeah, Sony Class Action alleged. I'm gonna let Red run with this because I can hear her boiling inside.
You haven't read this, have you? You're just like, what do I say next?
Wow.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Basically, there was a class action lawsuit put through or filed against Sony in America, basically saying that the PlayStation 5 contained like defects that they knowingly concealed where the game console crashes or shuts down when you're trying to play titles, and that they were already aware of it based on the amount of complaints that they were getting about the issues, and that they didn't even acknowledge them or come out and say anything, which is very much in stark contrast to if we're looking at the Red Ring of Death and how that happened in the 360 generation. Like Microsoft got ahead of that as much as possible, and then they knowingly said, hey, we've got an issue. If anyone has this issue, you can return your console and we'll give you a replacement console. And they took a $1 billion loss on that as a
More than that.
result. Well, more than that. Yes, you're 100% correct. More than that. But they're like saying, that this is what it's about, and I'm kind of like not surprised at all that this has happened, because like they've had that class action lawsuit against stick drift as well. I mean, Nintendo's had one, Xbox I'm pretty sure has had a class action lawsuit about stick drift as well, but like they're now actively going out to Sony because the fact that Sony hasn't done anything to get ahead of the issue and at least acknowledge it and go, yes, we're aware of the issue. If you have a problem, send your console in, we'll give you a replacement. That would be the nice thing, the minimum thing that they should be doing. No, that is not what they're doing.
They can't afford to.
Yeah, well, that's true, but then they shouldn't be in that market if they're not looking after their consumer base.
I mean, think about it, right? It costs Microsoft $1.15 billion back then. So imagine what it costs now to do it.
Because I mean,
it's too costly.
It's insane.
Just not gonna happen.
And I mean, you look at probably how much. I mean, they're not making a loss on the console anymore, so that makes a big difference. But like they're saying, like the lady who's got brought this class action lawsuit against them is saying like they're in breach of or violation of Illinois consumer laws, basically breach of warranty, unjust enrichment, and those sort of things, because of the fact that they haven't done anything around it, and they really should at least talk about it. Because I think I mean, we're not hearing it so much now, any problems with the PS5 at the moment, but when it first launched there was quite a few issues that were announced, and I mean that comes with new technology. When it first launches, there's always going to be probably a little bit of teething until they kind of push things out, but they had like an extra year on that console for its R&D, so you wouldn't have expected it. I mean, it's new OS in there for it and such, but it's still, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
but the thing is that they spent that extra year up-speccing it and overclocking it, which caused the issue. So if they didn't do any of that, it wouldn't have had those issues, right? We saw it when it first launched. You saw tons of Twitter videos and photos and all sorts of stuff on Twitter showing that there was defects with the console. It was pretty big. That's why they did the changes. Two reasons why they did the changes within a year. One, to fix those problems, and two, to make it more profitable. Now, of course, they're not going to come out and say, "Oh, yeah, we knew this was an issue, but we still sold the consoles anyway." They'd be up for even worse a legal lawsuit than this.
They'll just open themselves
up. So it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But look, there's only one person in the US that has lodged this, although we have seen a lot of it. Look, there's even been some issues with launch Xbox consoles as well. Not to this extent, obviously, but yeah, like you said, they all sort of have teething issues and problems. So, yeah, I mean, nothing's going to come of it. They're going to have to prove that Sony were 100% aware of this and ignored it. But how to prove that, I'm going to find pretty difficult to find out.
Yeah.
Why are you sorry, Elite? I mean, you should
I'm
be.
sorry. Mark Cerny's a genius. Leave him, he's a god. He's a genius. Whatever he touches is gold. He's amazing. He created the SSD. The SSD wasn't a thing until he invented it himself. He created a massive box of power.
MESSY.
Yeah. No, I've done videos on this before. We read the original podcast. We talked about this, the issues of the PlayStation 5 that were coming out, didn't we?
PS5, yeah.
I'm still
not sold on it yet.
No, not just the games, but the issues with it. When we've gone through this, I think a couple of podcasts back about the heating issues. They keep revamping, doing a remodel of the console, which is weird. I mean, we're on its first iteration now. We're less than 2 years in. There is issues with the console. We've caught it from the start. But I think you touched on the DualSense, the DualSense 4. They were called out by the quality control, weren't they? Because when that had all the stick shift, shift, drift,
Stick drift?
yes, all the issues of that at the beginning, and the
Stuck
quality
drift.
control people would come out, stick drift,
Drink
and
some
they were
water,
trying
Elite.
the players.
Switch from
I'm
beer to
drinking-
water.
I'm drinking rum actually. Shut up, shut your mouth. But the quality guys come out and said we told Sony about this, and they ignored us. Remember that coming out? Do you remember that? I've done a video on it.
Mm.
And
No, I don't,
so they've already been. Oh, you don't watch my channel? You disgust me.
Who are you?
I'll send you a link. I've done a video on this. Yeah, the quality control guys said they recognised issues years ago about the DS controllers because they've all had the same issue, and Sony just keep ignoring them and it just keep releasing the controller anyway. And it's the same as it's the same boat as this now. All PlayStation consoles have always had an issue. Yes, Xbox Ones have too, but the PlayStation One seems to have the same ongoing issues. The PlayStation 4 did have as well as the PlayStation 3, 360. We know had the red ring of death. The PlayStation 3 also had a similar issue. PlayStation 4 had the same issue again as the PlayStation 3. And the PlayStation 5, I mean, we hear continuously now they give advice. Sony give advice to do things like not go on standby mode and do stuff like this, which is ridiculous. Imagine, buying something and then going, yeah, thanks for buying our product, spending £500 on a product. By the way, we advise just not doing this thing because it might break your console. Imagine giving that advice to people. It's just ridiculous. And, we'll see how this goes. But yes, if it comes true, they deserve to be sued because they just seem to be continuously caught out and be sly and stuff like this. And it's just...
It's going to be hard to
some
prove.
cases, it will be hard to prove, but let's go back to PlayStation 4 when it released and the Killzone. Remember Killzone when they said it's 4K 60 FPS, didn't they? FPS, and that guy
1080p.
come out and said, yeah, and 1080p native, didn't he? And that guy come out and sued him for it, and he won because there was misleading with the advertisement stuff. And that was just one guy, and I think sometimes it just takes one guy, and if this person's gonna go for it.
That's true, but if there's written in an article or a tweet and you've got that's evidence. Whereas there's really no evidence here with this.
I mean, they've sold more than 19 million units worldwide, right?
Yeah.
Or
And I guess
shipped
it'd
at
be
least.
yeah, and at least it would be interesting just to see what proportion of those units were actually defective and how many have had to be returned in, because they're saying some people
Exactly.
had no issues at the beginning, and then their console just started randomly crashing whenever they tried to play certain games, and it's like, well, don't play those games. It's like, well, why do I have this console then? Kind of like that meant, So it would be interesting. Like right now, it doesn't seem like it's on the level of anything like Red Ring of Death was. But again, as this, I guess, evolves, you get to hear a little bit more about the lawsuit and what information that they're going to use as evidence would be interesting. But
Well,
I just wish they would acknowledge it. It would be lovely to just say, yep, we're aware, we're fixing it. That's it.
Yeah, it's just not happening. It's not gonna. And again, that's why I
Sony
said
don't do that.
that they within
Different
the
company,
year,
different mentality.
yeah, within their first year, that's why they revamped it and changed some internals so to prevent this further ongoing issues. So that's what they've done. They've fixed it within the first year. People have short memories. People forget, and then it'll just continue on from there. But what's interesting about that is, in light of this lawsuit, Ask PlayStation's Twitter account will stop helping people with their issues, such as these overheating issues. As of 1st of August, the one-to-one PlayStation support via Twitter will no longer be available. What are they going to do now? What are Sony fans going to do without that interaction on Twitter? Because all they've got left is some pages on their website to try and troubleshoot stuff.
You've got the YouTube PlayStation support channel.
Really?
Yeah, there's a YouTube PlayStation support channel.
Okay, so when are they going to shut that down?
I've noted. If you click on the Ask PlayStation tweet, like there's a link to there. It was a YouTube support one. And for the tweet that actually announced that Twitter will they're closing down that Twitter page for them because they're no longer using it. And I understand why, like, in the sense of they don't even actually answer people with it. But it's about perception, right? And if you can see that this channel exists, you feel like they are doing the right things to support you if there are tech problems. I mean, Microsoft has a Twitter, like Xbox support Twitter page, or whatever you want to call it. And I mean, they don't really respond to people on there either, but it's around that idea of seeing that accessibility and that perception, and the fact that it's there and you know it's there is enough to go, they are trying to do the right thing. You're better to kind of go onto the website or contact Microsoft Direct instead for troubleshooting issues or warranty issues or tech issues or anything like that. But the idea is some people predominantly use this as a way to interact with these companies, and just pulling yourself off that space. It just feels a bit shitty. I don't know.
Yeah,
As a consumer, I'd be like, fuck you guys.
Look at the YouTube support channel. It's just it says watch official support videos. So you just watch videos of I guess you
People
just go to
hugging
videos.
and patting each other on the back. That's
Yeah, you
support.
go.
No, I'm kidding.
I've got my problem with my PlayStation 5. It's having this problem.
Thoughts
and they
and
probably
prayers.
just don't, and they just on YouTube just show you've got this problem with your PlayStation 5. This is how you solve it, and then probably just on the YouTube thing. You don't actually interact or talk to anyone. It just shows you a video probably how to resolve it. If it doesn't resolve, then
And that's I think that's a good thing about having the Xbox ambassadors, because they can actually, they're just normal people that can actually assist with your issues. I've only ever really had one sort of major issue where I needed to reach out to an Xbox ambassador, and they helped me. It was like a Sunday. This was a few years ago, and they troubleshooted with me through Messenger or whatever it was at the time. And they said, "Yeah, here, try this, do that," and it worked. I was like, "Fuck, that's awesome!" Like there was actually a person, and they're people from the community. And Red, I think you used to be an ambassador yourself.
I used to do that. Yeah, I used to troubleshoot with people. Yeah,
And
on
do it
the
for
old
free.
Xbox One. Yeah.
Yeah, and having that just there, I mean, that's fantastic.
that's a community. That's a community.
Yeah,
And that's what annoys me when those videos are coming out a
Who's
month or so
gonna-
that they were shitting on that community.
Who's going to know your issues and the little things that gamers do to get their consoles back on track and stuff than the people who do it every day, like directly from the source, and just giving that option in those channels. But yeah, it's about perception, right? And it's about visibility, and the fact that they're pulling that reduces their visibility, and also just kind of reinforces the fact that their support channels are crap. They don't really seem to be there to, if you need a refund or and other stuff. And like you've heard stories where people were getting their consoles sent in, obviously not the PS5, but like back in the PS3 generation, people got if they had an issue with the first iteration of the PS3, they were like, hey, we'll send it in and we'll give you a replacement one. But they were giving them the next SKU, which didn't have the backwards compatibility already in it, and so on and so forth. And so you had to like fight to get them to do a repair on your console and make sure that they gave you your console back, because you paid the money for those features, so you're entitled to it. And it's just, they've just got a history of like, people complain all the time about PlayStation support. Yes, people complain about every support, but it just seems to be very vocal that it doesn't seem like they're really that interested in looking after the consumers that pay basically their bills.
indeed.
Actually, did we cover that? I think they were doing it PlayStation 5. Didn't we cover it a while back with that when people were sending in their PlayStation, their disc?
Oh, their disc, they were giving
PlayStation
a disc
5s,
version. Yeah,
and
I
it's
think
giving their discless versions back. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
and it
you
was
were
like,
right.
wait a minute. Yeah.
Man, I'd be pissed if that happened.
Yeah.
You'd be real
Actually,
effed
physical
off, yeah.
games.
Especially if you're all about physical, because we do have people who are about physical and don't want to do digital.
Well, I like
Exactly.
options regardless, right? So if I bought a disc version, I expect a disc version back. I would
Especially
be so
if the
pissed
disc
off.
version costs you £500 and the discless one costs you £400, but they give you back a £100 cheaper version of your console.
And
It's
they
like,
don't give
wait
you
a
the
minute.
they don't give you the
No,
difference
the
in money.
remainder.
Yeah.
Far
We
out.
talked about it. We talked about it a while back, didn't we? So they are doing that now.
I forgot
and
about
we
that.
know, and we know that everyone hates Sony's customer service. They're terrible. They're awful. People always say it. Even Amazing Lucas said he hates them because they don't talk to him and they
That guy's special.
He's just that guy's just
he's
insane.
He's weird. But people like that are so devoted to Sony even say it's terrible. and Sony just what's weird is they just shrug it off, and they get it's just like water off a duck's back with them. The media just don't go at them. Like the Xbox is like, yeah, whatever, what you can do about it, and then the media's like, yeah, you're right. Anyway, about Xbox, and like let's find something about Xbox, and it's just weird that they can just get away with it, and they do year after year, generation after generation.
Yeah,
And that's why I think they sort of deserve this person to come out and just say, look, just wind them in again. So
indeed. Well, look, shout out to the 14 that are watching live. You are watching some gameplay of Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC.
very average.
Don't. Yeah, well, it is average gameplay, but Red was actually driving. She said it earlier, so I'm sticking with that. But anyway, this is the Gamers Initiative podcast with Elite Gaming Guru, Red, Dead Panda, and myself, Ashtray Gaming. And we're having fun this morning or evening, depending on where you are.
The links I popped in the chat was wrong.
Oh, what did you put in?
It was our next topic, I think. Yeah.
Welcome, Sega Man.
Yeah.
Welcome.
That's okay.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Oh God, you're talking. What is wrong, you girl?
Because you're a guest and I don't respect you. No, I'm kidding.
A guest on his own channel.
Yeah.
Ruined it.
Continue,
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Jesus Christ!
I have to apologize. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Origins 60 Origins 60 FPS update. That's a long word. Our transformative on PS5 and Series X and Series Slim. I'm not really much into this because, to be honest, I'm not a big Assassin's Creed fan or anything. I won't play the game regardless of the update or anything. So, what's your face, Ashtray? You love this game. You're a massive Odyssey fan.
Yeah,
what have you got to say?
Yeah.
Keep it really brief.
What I will. I like it a lot. No, so what's interesting about this is I don't know what transformative is supposed to mean realistically, because Assassin's Creed Odyssey got the via backwards compatibility got a 60 FPS boost like a year ago. And then Origins just got one when it launched in Game Pass a few months ago. So I don't really understand. Maybe for the PS5 it's a good thing because they probably hadn't had it. But I mean, Xbox has had it since those updates. So I'm kind of at a little bit of a loss here myself. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you. I did keep it short.
You did keep it short. I'm just kind of happy that... both, whether you're playing on the PlayStation 5, the Series X, or the Series S, you're getting an option to play it with 60 FPS. That's the important thing. Because, like, all the versions are derived from the previous version. Like, the one for the Series X is the 1X version. The one for the Series S is the Xbox One version. The one for the PS5 is the PS4 Pro version. So, obviously... picking up on that, they're going to hit the same sort of resolution that the last gen consoles were hitting. It's just the frame rate now. We're in this next gen situation where if you're not playing at 60 FPS and you're playing a game at 30 FPS, you're really missing out on just a great experience. Like, people are talking about, and I know I'm going to completely change topic and talk about God of War in this instance, but people are going, should we play in fidelity mode or should we play in performance mode where you're getting the dynamic 4K or whatever it is at 60 FPS versus the
native
4K native at 30 FPS. And it's like, all you're seeing now is, as a gaming community in general, people who are experiencing 60 FPS don't want to go back and play 30 FPS.
Hell no.
And I loved Origins, and I would have loved to have played and completed that game in 60 FPS, but it wasn't available at the time. And then I went back and I finished off Odyssey, and I ended up finishing at the end of Odyssey off when they had the 60 FPS patch added to it, and it just made a world of difference playing that game. The animations, everything seems smoother. So if you haven't played these games and you've got a current gen console, go back, play these titles. I mean, some of them, Origins is from 2017. Is Odyssey 2019?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it sounds about right.
2018, I don't know.
Around there.
Around there. go back and try these. I think they're worth at least looking at another time because you can get them at a really good discount now and testing out in 60 FPS.
But
Playing those games in 60 FPS.
my question
makes
to
a huge
you, Red,
difference.
is we've already had this with Xbox, so I don't understand why this is a news thing.
Why
at
this is a
point.
new thing? PlayStation didn't have it, right?
No, they didn't, but Xbox has, and they're lumped
Xbox
into
has.
the
I mean,
title.
it's
so.
more. I think it's more impressive that it's Series S as well, because Series S didn't necessarily have it fully evolved yet. This is a topic because Digital Foundry did a video on these games around a next gen patch analysis, and I'm like, well, have these
Who
actually?
won?
Yeah, I knew you were gonna ask that.
Shit.
Overall, I think
Messy.
yeah, it is a little messy. I think overall, they all have issues. They all have little things in them. I
Who
think.
won?
Watch the video and you'll find out, Elite.
Oh shit!
The Series S.
Yeah,
It was a Series S. It just destroyed at 1080p, 60 FPS. It was just, 1080p makes you a better gamer, as we were told last gen. 1080p makes you a better gamer.
yeah.
So clearly,
Holding to
the
that.
Series S is the top tier console in this instance.
Yeah. I bought a 10 grand PC the other day and downscaled it to 1080p. So
But you can run it at 240 FPS now.
yeah.
There you go.
1080p. So just so I'm a better gamer.
Yeah, this is why it's a talking point. But I think it's nice to see that like this is now available on the PlayStation 5 as well. They like to play those games regardless of where you choose to play, to get the best experience. You deserve it because you've put the money into that ecosystem, and that means getting high frame rates, a smoother experience, and just enjoying yourself. And if there are any issues, VR can kind of sort of smooth anything out. I don't know how that's working with the PlayStation 5 at the moment because they were having issues with VRR impacting like screens and such. But yeah, I don't have much to add here other than try it if you haven't tried it at 60 FPS. They're good games.
Everything's better at 60 FPS.
Even your mum. No, I'm sorry.
I think that I spent.
I'm sorry. Astray's going to hear it later.
I spent nearly 400 hours in Odyssey, so I'm not going back to that. I did load it up when it first dropped its 60 FPS patch last year for a little bit, but I'd played the crap out of that game, so I was like, yeah, I'm not going back to it. Plus, I had Valhalla, which is even better. So
that is a good game.
But yeah, you're right. If you haven't experienced it, definitely jump in. I'd say Odyssey over Origins. The gameplay
I'm the opposite.
The gameplay is much better. The story's better.
Prefer Origins over Odyssey.
Yeah, no, Origins
But you know,
is
it's
trash.
about preference. It's about you know who's trash?
Elite.
Elite.
I chose. I'd say I chose Exiles over Odyssey and Origins. That's the better one.
Which one?
Did you say
Conan
you chose...
Exiles.
Oh, you choose Conan?
Yeah, Conan. Over
You just like wearing
better
nothing
combat.
when you go climbing up people's.
I do. I like to show my dog. No,
Fortresses.
there's a reason. If you ever watch my channel,
I
you'd
know,
why
I
go
do.
naked
It's
up
about
mountains.
making sure that you don't use as much stamina.
Yeah, it's all to do with a weight thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I've watched
got,
your
gravity.
Conan videos.
Because the game's actually very. You know, if you drop off something that if you over encumbered and you drop off a rock or drop off something high up and land on someone, you kill him instantly. You know. There's all
That
gravity in
happens
the
in
game.
real
and
life
That's
too.
great.
I'm glad
know.
that they are keeping that
Yeah.
those physics realistic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And God of War can't even jump. The Kratos can't even jump. In God of Conan Exiles, they've got that. You know what I mean? Lazy,
Elite, you're
lazy Santa
hilarious.
Monica. Right. Santa Monica are lazy. Lazy devs, that's all I'm saying.
Oh shit.
Bruv. Discord and Xbox are connected more than ever as Discord voice chat comes to Xbox consoles. Shit.
Yeah.
This is great. I think personally, this is great. We was talking about this briefly with Ashtray, as well as other things of that stuff. Yeah. Just before we went live and before Red joined us, because we talk a lot before Red joins us because we don't get a
Red
word in
talks
otherwise.
so much that they never do.
Yeah. So
Thanks.
so we thought we tell her we're gonna meet at 9:30, but usually we meet about 9:10, so we can get. But Oh, she's lovely. I don't care what you say. I don't care what Coral says about you. I love you. Right. But yes. So yes, I forgot what I was saying now.
Idiot.
You've ruined.
You're an idiot.
Go on. You run with it.
Oh, look, we're using Discord right now, right? And it's clearly got
story.
a great sound quality. Look, party chat still works fine, I guess. The integration for me is a good thing to have options for. I think you can have more people in Discord than you can on a party chat. I think party chats top out at about 19. Is it 19 people?
Something like that, yeah.
About that, give or take. So I think Discord has a lot more room per se to have that, but it's in alpha at the moment. So anyone that's in the alpha ring has
Like
access to it.
me.
And can download it and update it and make sure it all works. Obviously, okay, so you're in that, Red. Have you had an opportunity, a chance to try it with someone else that's in the alpha?
I haven't yet.
You're supposed to do
but
research before the show. And
I have
you let
managed
me
to
down.
get mine connected, and it wasn't easy.
Really?
It wasn't easy in the sense of like, just because it isn't as straightforward. I mean, like you have to go on and read the article and step by step. Like at the moment, I think because it's not easy, I understand why it's only been put out to like a select few people, like in the insider program. And I think we're going to be the guinea pigs that test out like how easy it was to access and so on and so forth. Because I've got a survey to do and such for it. But yeah, it wasn't as straightforward as it should be, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird.
What's going to be interesting is that you need to be on someone's server in Discord to be able to communicate with them. So you need to be able to, if you're the owner or the head of that server, you need to, or you have to invite people in to then be on the same server and then communicate like this, right?
Yep.
Is it going to work the same way? So if you've only got 5 people in your server, do you need to add people from your friends list on Xbox to that server for it to work? Or does it just integrate with your current friends list through Xbox and it just gives you the Discord quality sound, etc.? So the article doesn't go into that detail, so I've got questions around that and how that works. And can people still just jump into your party if it's there, or again, do they need to be part of the server to then?
Yeah, I need to actually test it out a little bit more and actually play around with it because I've got it working, which is nice. I got it connected. It's actually way easier if you just connect it via the desktop app rather than using your phone app or even using the QR scanner on the Xbox. If you've got the desktop app on your computer, way easier to connect that way. And so I did it that way because it's just not straightforward doing it through the Xbox side of things. It's way easier on the app.
Yeah. So I mean, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the feature. I reckon it's probably a couple of months away, at least. If you're saying that it's sort of a bit difficult to connect and haven't even had the chance to sort of really give it a go, it might be a couple of months away for us plebs to have access to it and try it out.
Yeah.
I think it's been great. Yeah, I can't wait to them have Discord chats going because I just have a lot of problems with party chat on Xbox. And I said when I'm recording stuff, it doesn't always record party chat for games. And for games when I'm doing, for example, I was telling Astray earlier, when I'm doing games for Conan and stuff, when you're doing raids and stuff, you need to communicate obviously and have a plan and you're talking through things. And people that watch the Conan videos like to listen to that chat because you're talking strategies and what you're going to do, and people start to listen to that. And it doesn't always catch what the other people are saying, doesn't always catch all that. So it doesn't, you just hear me talking to sort of nobody. And it's just weird. So it'd be great to Discord just better record that and have it properly. And then have more people in. So I assume Discord can have more people in party chat than Xbox. So
well, not just that, Elite. It's cross-platform too. So if you've if you've got any friends on PC that game, dump them quickly because they're PC gamers. But you could still communicate with them through your Xbox.
Yeah,
and
well, even PlayStation. You could be playing an Xbox game and be chatting to someone on PlayStation.
You could, yeah. If
you'd want to do that.
Does the PlayStation have Discord integration? Someone in the chat, let me know.
I'm pretty sure it has some sort of
It doesn't have,
integration, right?
but they could just join.
Yeah, true.
Can they just?
They could still just
Yeah,
join the
Discord.
Discord app through their phone or
regularly, yeah.
something and play
Yeah, yeah.
PlayStation games and then talk to you through the Xbox via Discord.
Yeah.
Yep.
While you're playing a game, yeah, it'd be groovy, and yeah. But I think it's great. I think it's good they're pushing for this, and I just wonder if there's a plan for this. If there's something gonna lead from this to something else, or if this is just it.
As
It
in,
just
do you
feels
think,
like they.
what do you think
Go
that
on,
there's
sorry.
going to be more to it with Xbox and Discord?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is this it? Is they just go to Discord and said, should we just can we have your sort of party chat on our Xbox console? Or if there was a bigger deal and there's something more they're sort of pushing for, a bigger sort of grand scheme of things, it just seems odd that it's just a small thing you just target for your Xbox. I don't know.
Well, the reason why what I think behind it is that if they're trying to reach through 3 or 4 billion gamers or whatever it is, and
Yeah.
they're going to be playing on different devices, they're going to be playing on mobile phones and all that kind of stuff. Well, where's your Discord app? You got Discord on mobile,
Yeah.
you got it on PC, so it's really
Yeah.
just to try and tie all those different platforms
Oh, that's it.
together.
You could be on your phone playing a game,
Yeah.
and you can party chat via Discord.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah.
So that's what it's for. The integration is just to try and bring all the different platforms together, and you can use it as long as you got reception or some sort of connection. You can use Discord anywhere. I could be talking to
In
people
fact, yeah.
through Discord in my car. You know what I mean? So
And you might even want to play. You could even do it about playing games. You could just party chat with a load of friends on Discord on your phone while you're on a train, not necessarily playing a game, but you just join the Discord party chat sort of thing
yeah.
via the app, couldn't you? And then just chat with a bunch of friends while you're on the train.
Yep, and it'll work really well because I've used it, before out in the car. I've been driving around for work, and I, chat to someone in Discord, and it works really, really well. Whereas the Xbox Party Chat, I've tried that before, and it just doesn't work. It cuts out, it kicks you
that's-
out.
that's what I
It's
mean, yeah.
trash, and I think they know
I've had
that.
loads of issues with party chat.
Yeah, I think they know that. So if you're going to be at the airport, bus stop, or in Elite's case, a brothel, and you're on your phone, you can still Discord chat with people while you're waiting.
Yeah, I use Discord a lot when I'm in a brothel because they try to talk to me and I don't care. I don't want to hear their lives, their life story, and that. I just I sometimes just put my hand up to their face and say, I don't want to hear it, girl. Just take my money. I throw my quid on the lap and go. I don't hear it, but yeah. What you do?
True story.
Is Red still with us?
I was just sleeping. It's fine.
A quick shout out to the chat. Hello, Dauntless is still here. We've got Jedi Knight Peter. Other Zim's just woke up. John, welcome, John. Hello, mate. Yeah, if you want more than 10 friends, add us, and then you've got 3. No, then you've got and you join our party gaming nights and stuff. I rarely turn up, but yeah, join them anyway. Sega Man 101. Hello, mate. You all right? You good? High five. Bottom bump. Yeah. Should we move on to the final topic?
Indeed.
So our final topic is Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC is just released, and it's turning out as everyone expected. A bloody good game. Yeah, a bloody good game.
It's
Did
fire.
anyone doubt this? Did anyone doubt this, though? Did anyone doubt this would be good? For one, it's Playground Games, which have not even made a mistake with Forza Horizon or their DLC. And two, the Hot Wheels was fantastic and was massively popular last time it released on Forza Horizon 3, which was in 2015. So, yes, was anyone shocked that this game's massive? Is this really popular?
No.
Not at all. Not at all. I think I'm the only one on the panel that's actually played it. You can see from
fraud.
True.
you can see from the footage my trash ass driving. But I'm still having fun with it. I was really tired last night, and I was trying to play it to capture more footage, and I was just not having it. I was just no, I was not having it. I wasn't winning races. I was crashing
It
all the
does
time.
look like you're just randomly roaming around, just trying to.
Yeah, well,
Sounds
a lot
like
of that.
you were driving like how Riskit drives.
Well, no. So in the first half of the footage that we played today, is I had to play a couple of races, but then I tend to like to find all the roads, and then usually like to then get all the XP boards and stuff like that. You start off in B class, and I was playing it last night, and I was getting sick and tired of how slow these cars are. So I was like, oh, screw it. I'll just play a couple of races, get through the B class to get to A class, and then I'll be a little bit more happy going forward because you need faster cars.
Actually,
Yes.
is this a long story?
No.
Yeah, good.
It can
Not
be
as
if you
long
want
as
it to
mine. Yeah, continue.
be. But if you don't know which elite you won't, you start off at B class and everyone starts off at B class, so no one can just have S1 cars or anything like that from the start. You play through 3 different races, and then you unlock A class and so on and so forth. There's other bits and pieces to do, like a little story mode thing as well, to get accolades and things like that. So that's really cool. They limit your car, as you can see on screen. Some of them sort of grayed out, so you can only pick what's available to you at the time. And yeah, it's tons of fun. As you can see, the visuals on screen. I mean, they're not as good as what you actually get because it's actually down resed for the stream. But when it's on a 4K 65-inch screen, it looks stunning. So it's lots of fun. Red's going to play it after the show, aren't you, Red?
I'm gonna try. We're gonna have a chat after the show because I still can't get it to work. Even changing my it's because my actual account that Xbox is set up under is New Zealand, so I think I have to change that to Australia to get it.
Yeah.
Pain in the butt.
So changing your region didn't work.
Nope. It's because my
really?
account that the game
Damn.
would go to is a New Zealand account, so I can't. Yeah, changing the console region doesn't
I
work.
think Ashtray's having a poo. He sounds pretty distant.
I'm right here, man.
Okay, you sound distant then. You sound really distant, like you're having a plop plop. Right,
Oh
so
my
I
God.
just want to cover.
Hey, you can leave now, everybody. I'm about to go.
I just want to reiterate what Other Zinc said, that he thought Xbox didn't have any AAA games in 2022. And I'll say, yes, we've got Hot Wheels DLC, which we've been told by the other side count as new games. DLC counts as new games. So there we go. AAA new game for you. Did they actually get a rating? Did they rate this?
I haven't even looked yet, and I probably should have. But I mean, I played the Hot Wheels DLC on Forza Horizon 3, and that was really cool. And I can't wait to jump in and play this. But just looking at it, it just feels like it's on another level compared to what Forza Horizon 3 did, with their Hot Wheels DLC. Because you've got the larger tracks, like the wider tracks. You've got that
Verticality.
Thank you. Yeah, my brain is dying.
You're welcome.
Verticality. Oh, I still probably said it wrong. Oh my god, I did. I'm gonna survive one day. Oh, and everything just looks on another level, and it just feels like if you were playing a Hot Wheels game, that's what it should be like. And you can just see the time, the effort, and why this DLC took so long to come out. It's massive in comparison to some of the other DLC they've done, and it just looks gorgeous. That game is just absolutely beautiful, and any excuse to jump back in and play some more, people should be taking that chance. Yes, it isn't out on Game Pass, and you do have to pay for it, but the base game is out on Game Pass, and you can get a discount being a Game Pass subscriber, and so on and so forth for this. I think from memory, it's like 10%. Yeah, so I reckon give it a go, give it a giz. But yeah,
the score it got on Metacritic.
Yeah, so Metacritic score from 7 reviewers is 86, and 9 user score.
It's decent. I mean, there's not many people reviewing, but like an 86 for
7.
DLC.
I don't get why Xbox games get so few reviews. It's weird.
That's because they're too busy playing the games to write up reviews.
Oh shit!
Just want to say that.
Well, everything that you download digitally is DLC. Just saying. Even if it's a full game, because it's downloadable content. And yeah, there you have it. All right, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I think it was a good show. I was the best, obviously. Red was pretty close to number 2, and Elite was Elite. So
he doesn't even get third. The people who didn't guess last week gets third.
Oh, no, I was going to get him. I was going to get him on at the same time as you, but now I'm not.
Every time he's been on, I've been on.
He has been avoiding you, though.
Oh, no. But as always, I mean, thank you, everybody, for joining us every week. We love having you in the chat, and it's not a long one today. There's not a great many topics.
No, still
an hour and a half. Not bad.
Yeah, no, not bad. Yeah. Any excuse for me to talk gaming and hear my own voice, because I do enough talking throughout the week that, you know, if you're in a party with me, you'll know. But yeah, I love doing the show every week with you guys, and I love the chat who shows up every week, and it's just fun talking about something.
I've already ended the stream, Red.
So passionate about. Thank you. I appreciate that. So hit that like button, share it out. We'll be here next week as well, and we'll see about getting some more guests on as well.
Indeed, but it is good just to have the three of us. You know,
just
every now and then.
Three of us. You and I, and then him.
Shade.
I feel like sort of the Kevin Hart of the group now.
Well, yeah.
We love
Kevin Hart of the group.
I
know. That's fucking funny. Well, I think the show's coming along really well, guys, and we're just improving upon week, so that's really cool. Shout out to everyone in the chat again. Appreciate everyone turning up every week in, week out. It's really cool. Appreciate the support.
Darkness, all those guys I can see in my vision right now.
Infinite Umbra and Jedi Knight Peter, who also do a podcast. Yeah,
indeed.
Podcast after this.
Join them.
Yeah. After we loosened you up. Yeah, we loosened you up. And go and trash talk Risket in that podcast, please, and say that it's from me.
You mean Jedi Knight Peter's podcast?
Yeah, basically. Jedi Knight Peter's podcast, and support him, but trash talk Risket in the chat. Yeah.
Actually, if you go over his podcast and all put in the chat, Winkle. Just write Winkle in the chat. It'll completely confuse you. You don't know what's going on. Jedi, I know, but yeah, it will throw off Risket and you wonder, why is everyone writing Winkle? Just write Winkle in the chat, everyone. Just spell Winkle for a minute.
But if you watch this show, they're great guys. We've guested on there, and we've had Doom Cutie from their show on our guesting on ours as well.
Get back.
Yeah, we've had quite a few great guests over the time. But yeah, please like and share this out, guys. More exposure,
please
the better.
The channel,
help
guys.
Us grow.
Yeah, we would get a big up. Just over 500 subs, so thank you all for that. But it'd be good if you can also support Red and Ashtray. We want to get their subscriptions up because it all
just on Twitter
adds to this.
That's where I'm at the moment.
Indeed. All right, guys.
Thank you
for
watching.
That's it for us. We're gonna finish this stream about now.